Hi there, Bruce Millington, James Hill, Paul Keeley and Paddy Powers. Frank Hickey looking ahead to some decent stuff on the flat and over the sticks on Sunday. We'll start at Leopardstown. There's a Group 3. It's the Killer Vallen Stakes. The 3:30. I don't think we've got any betting yet, Frank, have we?
No, we don't. We don't have any betting on this at the moment, no.
Okay, I'm interested in this Kenya who I think it was Brendan last week put up and absolutely waltzed home. What do you make of this race, Frank?
I would be very slow to oppose Kenya. It looks a decent race. Like Landshark was second in a Group 3 at the Curragh in August in the Round Tower. And Mac Monagle was a very impressive winner at Naas, winning by 4 lengths from James Cook. And even Bye Bye Baby has some decent form. She won a maiden at Newmarket, beating Alton Orda, who won at Newmarket last week at a big price. But this Kenya, he was a massive eye catcher at Naas on debut, running on late in the day, and he absolutely hacked up a Cork only last Saturday, handling the soft ground no problem. I think he looks a right tool, and I see that Donica's on board, and yeah, I think he'd be a fair enough price. I'd be definitely interested in backing him.
Okay, we'll stick with you, Frank, for the 4 o'clock. It's the listed Trigo Stakes. Have you got a strong view on this one?
Well, I thought that Colin Keane is obviously looking for winners, trying to sew up the Jockeys Championship, and he's on the most likely winner here in Cannonball. They have an interesting second string in Song of Namibia, who was probably a small bit unfortunate at Leopardstown on Champion Stage. He was only beaten a length and a quarter off a mark of 95. That still leaves him with a bit to find. He's conceding £4 to Cannonball, who's rated £10, his superior. Cannonball was only beaten half a length at Limerick in a listed race there by Detailed, who was on an upward curve. And even at Leopardstown, there was only a length behind Azira in the Enterprise Stakes. Like, if a repeat of that form, it's very difficult to beat. And yeah, I think Colin Keane will get another one against Pat Swan.
James, you've had a little Leopardstown study up, haven't you? What you got for us?
Yes, Kenya looks very exciting. But I do also like Bye Bye Baby in that Killer Villain. So maybe that one might be an each-way double play or something. The soft ground will play to that one's strengths. So I'll stick with Bye Bye Baby. And in the other one, I think Cannonball is the obvious choice. Colin Keane riding. He's generally ran very well this season, and he did pretty well at Leopardstown about a month ago over the course and distance. I'm going to stick with Cannonball.
Okay, Keels, let's switch to you for Kempton, because we've got some decent stuff over jumps there. 3:15 is the better odds with Matchbook Novice Hurdle. It's a listed race. Have you got a strong view in this one, mate?
I haven't got a strong view in the race, but I do like listen to the man of Dan Skelton, who just keeps winning. Won a big handicap at a reasonable handicap at Market Raisin last time, a listed race that made it 3 on the spin. He was actually due to run last week at Chepstow, and one of these things that really annoys me, he was taken out due to unsuitable ground. The ground was good, the horse was one on good to firm, good to soft and heavy in his career. So I don't know what was unsuitable about it.
It's nonsense. It should not be allowed.
Yeah,
there has to be, look, even if there is a more valid excuse, they have to probe it and come up with something more believable than that, because it's just nonsense.
It just makes it look stupid, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So but then I think he's a nice horse. I think he's probably best best treated by the weights. He's getting a bit of weight from Amour de Nuit. She is getting a bit of weight, so it's only weight for sex, I suppose. But I think she's just going along quite nicely, and I think she'd take a bit of beating. I've got a better bet in the next race, though, the 350.
Go on then.
Top weight, Paul Nicholls Maracuja has won first time and second time out for each of the last 2 seasons. Handicap mark of 139 over fences is pretty good when you consider he's got an RPR to his name last year at Cheltenham of 150 over fences, and at Newton Abbot of 150 when he thrashed Ballybowley, who won one of the finals at Haydock, I think, at the end of this last season. Got some decent hurdles form as well. Second to Winter Escape in the Dovecote round there over 2 miles in February 2016. So I think he's got an awful lot going for him at the top of the weights there. And sticking with Nicholls in the 420, Old Guard. Now, I wonder what price will be, because a lot of people think he's not fast enough for 2 miles anymore, but I thought he ran a really nice race from 7th last week in that big 2 mile 3 furlong handicap at Chepstow. He was only beaten about 3.5 lengths, and he's basically better than most of his rivals in here and favoured by the weights.
I just know that I'm going to back Raving Black in that race. I always do. It's like an
It's not
involuntary
going.
action.
It's not going to be soft enough for it.
All right, fair enough. James, anything at Kempton you like?
Well, I'd agree with Keels for the two main races. Listen to the man. She's in the form of her life, really. And I don't think the forecast rain will be a problem for her. She seems to win on any ground. So, again, why she got pulled out of Chepstow, I don't know. And also, Old Guard, I prefer to San Benedito, who doesn't really have the best record fresh. Old Guard ran well at Chepstow in what was a very competitive heat. And, yes, he's dropping back in trip, but he does have very good form over 2 miles from about a year ago. So,
okay. Was that the run at Fontwell when it won? But who was that? Who was the horse the old horse that ran at Fontwell by half the track? No, it wasn't him. I can't think who it is. That's going to drive me mad. Frank, anything at Kempton for you?
Yeah, I'd agree with Old Guard. I think he'll take a bit of beating. I have a couple at Leopardstown in the other races, if that's okay.
Of course it is.
In the 4:30, Dermot Well runs a horse called Titus. Dermot's had a tough year, but particularly the first half of the year was very tough for him, but he's turned it around, and this horse was apparently one of his best 3-year-olds. It won a maiden last year at Leopardstown, beating Venice Beach. Came out then, was beaten in a list of races at Curragh, and then beaten in some kind of conditions race at Goran Park. But that was June, when Dermot Wells' string were completely out of form. To make his handicap debut here off 90, I'd say it could make a mockery of that mark. And yeah, it'd be interesting to see what price he is. I'd be having a bet on him. And then in the 5 o'clock, this is a little bit more left field, but there's a horse called Alcander for Francis Flood. It's eye-catching. Shamie Heffernan is on. He had some all right hurdles for him last year. Now he was beaten 4 3/4 lengths by Land of Hope and Glory in a maiden hurl at Fairyhouse. And he was third, beaten a long way, though, in Cork behind Denario des Obeaux. But he was beaten off just 3 pounds higher. 3 pounds lower, in Cork, over mile 4. Went to Leopardstown, where he went off 130 favourite, were disappointed, and looked like he had a spin of Roscommon on really heavy ground, which probably wouldn't have suited. The return to better ground will suit, and Shamie Heffernan's a very eye-catching booking. There's a good chance this might be a biggish price, and I'd be tempted to back it each way if it's like over 10-1.
Good man, Frank. Right then, it's 11 o'clock down in Melbourne. It's past his bedtime, but he's stayed awake for us. DJ, how are you?
I'm good, Bruce. How are you?
I'm very well, thanks, mate. What's been the highlight of your last week since we last spoke?
A couple of highlights. Every day seems to be some sort of highlight. Very interesting to see the way they do these barrier draws down here. They're very sophisticated. It's a big night, big occasion, food and drink. So imagine if they came back to Ireland and England, I'd be even bigger than I am now. But yeah, they make a big deal out of basically everything, which is kind of good in a way. And yeah, plenty of interesting things. The international kind of quarantine centre at Werribee is really interesting as well. That's where all the internationals hang out. And we had a big night out with all them last night, bowling and drinking and eating. So yeah, it's all good fun.
Jolly good. And you've got the Caulfield Cup tomorrow morning for you. Tomorrow morning for us, and tomorrow afternoon for you, haven't you? That's going to be exciting, isn't it? Who's going to win that?
Yeah, well, like Aidan O'Brien is the favourite in Johannes Vermeer, and it's funny coming over here. You know, Johannes Vermeer would have been a horse that I wouldn't have had on my radar whatsoever. But he ran really well last week in that Ladbroke Stakes. He flew home under Caitlin Mallion and was given a fairly tender ride. Wasn't beaten that far by Galo Chop. It's stepping up to 1.5 miles this time. And, yeah, I'd say it'll probably win. But I wouldn't be, you know, it's not one of these favourites that you'd be shocked if it was beaten. But I think he will probably win. It's not a great race. Marmello wants further. The big hope down here, the filly Bonneval was very disappointing last week, and yeah, so it's it's probably not a brilliant Group 1. So I think if Johannes Vermeer is ever going to win a Group 1, I think this will probably be it.
And how's the old homesickness? How often are you ringing Aoife? Every night?
Oh, sure. This WhatsApp video thing now is great.
Excellent.
It's like she's beside me.
Oh, that's good then, isn't it? So you're not missing home too badly, no?
No, I'm not, no. And just one thing before I go. We were playing bowling last night, and I was bowling beside TJ Comerford, who's Aidan O'Brien's travelling head lad. And very interesting chap to talk to. And obviously Aidan, it's a huge day for him tomorrow. But his thoughts on Caravaggio were really, really interesting. He thinks he's the best horse in the yard by quite a considerable margin. Apparently he's been working brilliantly, and he thinks the key to Caravaggio is cutting the ground. And he could be right. I don't know what the lads tipped, but Caravaggio without without obviously the Harry Angel, I thought might be an interesting bet in that.
That is an interesting angle. Okay, DJ, well done. Enjoy the rest of your trip. We'll see you next Friday. Okay, weekend plans, James. What are you doing? You going to Ascot?
No, Fred, not. No, I'm going to be here.
Oh,
and
slaving
Sunday,
away,
yeah, working away.
Oh, well, and Sunday, bit of respite?
No,
Working
in
both
here again.
days?
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness. Keels, what about you? You're going to Ascot, aren't you?
Yeah, I'll be there. My mate would miss it.
Excellent.
Yeah.
And with your drinking hat on, or your
Yeah, I was trying to talk the lads into letting me drive so that I didn't have to drink, but they won't have it at all.
No.
So I'll be a boring git if I'm not drinking. So therefore, I am going to have to imbibe again.
I just hope it's all going to be okay, because I mean that wind that's being forecast is pretty horrific, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean I think they've downgraded it a bit on the Met Office. It's sort of gusts of about 40 now rather than 50 odd. Right, so it'll probably be all right.
And what price are you to win, Keels, tomorrow?
The way I've been going all summer on the flat, mate, about 40 to 1. But hopefully it will change. I really do like Lord Glitter's Bramato as well. So hopefully, in fact, I like everything that I've tipped. Beat the bank. So hopefully it will all turn around.
Good luck, Keels. And Frank, you were working both days last weekend, so surely the rota has relented here, isn't it?
No, working this weekend as well. I'm heading away next weekend, so I have to work this weekend.
Oh, okay, fair enough.